Untitled Sports is a nonprofit organization where we teach people with different abilities how to climb and do all these different activities that have been offered in the mainstream, but not to someone with a different ability. Adaptive sports is a way of adapting a sport so that it allows anyone, whether they have a physical disability or not, to engage in that sport and not to be left out on the sideline to just cheer someone else on.
Now, selecting the right harness for the right participant is our first test. For smaller kids and anybody with significant core instabilities, we like to use a full body harness. Generally speaking, they also have a higher tie-in point, so they'll tie in up around the chest as opposed to the waist of a sit harness. And that'll help give them additional support when they're climbing and moving. It'll also prevent anybody who's a lot bigger in the upper body from flipping over when they're climbing, and it's just therefore a lot safer for them. For kids, it's particularly important for smaller kids to use a full body harness. That's because a lot of kids don't quite have the shape yet in the hips to properly and safely wear a sit harness in the event that they flip over. The easiest way, whether it's a kid's full body or full body harness or regular sit harness, is to lay it on the floor in front of our participant, nice and neatly, and then ask our participant to step into it. So, would you please? I have it situated such that our leg loops are nice and open. We've loosened up all the leg loops and the chest and the waistband so that it's easy for them to step into it. We're not squeezing into them, and we just ask them to step into it nice and easily. 1 foot and 2 foot. Some participants may have stability issues or balance issues, so don't be afraid to offer your shoulder to help facilitate them stepping into the harness. And then we just want to pull it up and ask them to help you pull it up like a pair of pants. And then we'll proceed to tighten up the loops, starting at the waist if possible, to help make sure we're seated in the proper position. And we can tighten up the leg loops. It's important to note that a lot of times when pulling up a harness, we're going to pull up the pants a little bit and we see we have creasing and bunching in the pants. We want to let the participant know, we want to kind of pull those out, because when we weight the harness, those creases and things like that will create pressure points, which can be very uncomfortable for anybody who's weighting the harness. Once we've got these guys all tightened up, we'll ask another participant or another volunteer to come and check the harness to ensure that we've done it correctly. And the things that they're going to check for are, 1, fit. We want to make sure that it's not too loose up here in the waist, so we don't want more than kind of like 2 fingers sitting here if possible, and tighten it up. We want to make sure that all the harness buckles are doubled back. Now, this Petzl harness is a auto double back harness, so we know that it's fine. There are other buckles on other harnesses that are a single buckle as opposed to 2, and we'll have to double those back, and we can highlight that separately. And then we're going to check to make sure that the harness is not going to fall off her. So we're going to come here, we're going to do a tug test. Let our participant know we're not just going to grab them and shake them around. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to grab the harness here, I'm going to hold down and make sure it doesn't pass your hips, okay? All right. When we see it doesn't ride past her hips, so that in the event that she inverts when she falls, if she falls, she's not going to pop out of the harness. Right. A lot of times with small individuals as well, we can just yank on the harness here and let them know we're going to do a pull test to simulate weighting the harness to make sure that there are no hot spots and no uncomfortable, pinching of the harness and things like that.